Hey, welcome to the recap. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and let's get into some things, as Amon Wiggins would say. Hey, Michelle's daughter, how you doing? Good afternoon. Welcome to you. Um, okay, so let's just get right into it. Of course, the city of Minneapolis is in unrest, as we wake up, many other cities have been uprupted with looting and protest, so on and so forth. So I would definitely like to get your thoughts on all that is going on. I do have some things to share that were brought to me, some things that I've just was searching the internet for, some things that were sent to my DMs on Instagram and other things like that. And thank you to those of you who have sent emails and things, because of course I don't watch everything and can't get everything, but I am thankful for those of you who come across certain things and find it important enough to share. Where do I begin? First of all, a lost life is definitely tragic, period. And the fact that it is the way in which it happened and the pleas of the person makes it worse and harder to even swallow and move on as this is a normal occurrence, because there's no level of humanity in it. It was almost as he pleaded more, the officer applied more pressure. And then to hear later on that night that the coroner's office decided, basically it was a decision. I don't think they even bothered to do a full examination, that the person died of natural causes or health-related issues, which is totally BS. I will be sharing something momentarily of something that I came across that I think everybody should know. Even as a trained professional, you should have known this. But be that as it may, again, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Sorry if I don't get the chance to speak to everybody, but I'm just talking. If you choose to add to the conversation or you have something to say, I can drop the link and you are welcome to come on. Just ask that you be respectful, so on and so forth. Later, I will drop the phone number too. So if those of you who wants to call in and express what you have to say, it's welcome. Yeah, of course. I cover this. I try not to cover it like, the moment it happens, because I like for things to give it time so more information can come in, and we can get a full scale of all that is going on. I disagree with some of it, the looting and all that stuff. I just think, like, we always do that. That is always the go-to. What else can we do? When do we elevate our protest and our anger to the point where it really gets their attention? This gets their attention for a moment. They bring in the police forces. They smother, the violence until there is none, and then we're still mad for a little bit, and we go on to life as usual. I don't want to keep going through this cycle. We need to elevate it. We need to elevate it to the point where we're really making a change and making a difference. We're putting in people in office, in places to where in which there are changes being made. We're not just sticking to the same politicians and making sure or begging them that they make a change, when in actuality they don't care anything about this. They just want your vote. Once your vote is cast, that's it. They go back as business as usual. We need to change that mindset of a lot of people that we put in office. So, but anyway, let me start with this share screen. Give me 1 second.
Floyd, a 46-year-old black male who was restrained with a knee to his neck for 9 minutes. Here's how he passed away. He was held in the prone position, so he was face down, lying flat. To breathe normally, you need to increase the size of your chest. You do this by raising your ribs and contracting your diaphragm. When you're face down, the weight of your body makes raising your ribs to expand your lungs difficult. It's even harder when someone's kneeling on you. Breathing quickly becomes abnormal. The person has air hunger, gasping and struggling to breathe. This is known as compressive asphyxia. The weight of the knee on the neck can fracture the hyoid bone or the cervical spine. Your airway is like a straight straw. Any bends in the straw can cause a blockage of the airways. Kneeling on the neck can compress the carotid arteries supplying the brain, resulting in less oxygen going to the brain. This can cause death of brain tissue, resulting in a stroke or cardiac arrest. This is George Floyd, a 46-year-old black male who was restrained with a knee to his neck for 9 minutes. Here's how he passed away. He was held in the prone position, so he was face down, lying flat.
So that is a rundown of what see if I can change this. Okay, so that's basically a rundown of what happened. Of course, there was if the thing was he was strangled or kind of lynched to death, of course they're going to look for anything to exonerate this officer and say, well, he wasn't strangled, he didn't die that way, but he sure enough did. As you can tell, of course, you do need to, when you're breathing, your chest expands. If somebody is laying flat, their chest cannot expand. And then add that to a human body of his size, equally his size, with pressure on him trying to breathe. I just think that obviously it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how this man died, especially as the people begin to question the officer and say, hey, man, what are you doing? You've been on there long enough. Even the Caucasian lady walked over and said, I'm EMT. You need to check his pulse. He continued to add pressure. You can see his body moving deeper and deeper into that gentleman's neck. Now, like I said, yes, we need to come up with a plan. Like this looting and this things that are going on, of course, is not just us. I've seen plenty of photos. I don't know if anybody else has seen the video of the white gentleman with an umbrella and a gas mask breaking windows and doing stuff of that nature. Because of course, this is their way of adding to it. And don't get me wrong, I don't believe it's happening on the scale in which it's happening. Only because if the media wants you to portray you as animals, savages, people that don't know how to organize, people who thrive in chaos, this is what they'll keep showing. And they'll stop showing the reason why it has happened and continue to show the destruction. Auntie, hey Auntie Donna, how are you? I don't have you muted, so you can unmute yourself, Auntie Donna. Hello? Okay, I'll just let me know when you're ready to come on, Auntie Donna, then I'll let you on. So yeah, I just think that we definitely we need a different strategy. Like I feel your anger. I am angry too, but it is time for us to put pen to paper, to put bodies to the ballot boxes and actually vote. A lot of us don't think that voting matters, think that we already had the person picked. And if that is the case, you don't help the situation when you don't vote. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even if they threw that out there to kind of throw you off, when you don't vote, you give that concept power to the point where they're not even bothered with they don't even bother with what you're doing. For the president of the United States, the president of everybody, to say, when they start looting, we start shooting. And for all of the officers and people of authority that already had that mindset towards us to begin with, and rally behind him, whether in secret or publicly, that's just giving another green light for something like this to happen and continuously happen, even after we have, everything has calmed down, and then we're looking for answers. I'm at a loss. I really am. It's clearly obvious we get treated a certain way than the others do. And it doesn't matter what they do. The last thing that they will do is shoot them. The first thing that they will try to do is apprehend them and, coddle them in a sense. Because again, they do not, when they see them, they don't quickly think kill. And they don't. And I'm just really trying to understand, we need to get to a point that, and I get it, the whole black on black crime thing is a bit of a whole propaganda thing, because of course, if you're in an area where there's a predominantly one culture or one group of people, then that's what you will see. And those are the crimes, that will happen. So I don't understand that. All right, bringing to the stage my favorite auntie. Hey, Auntie Donna, how you doing?
Wonderful. How are you, sweetheart? I was trying to
Yeah.
put a picture up there. That's what
Oh, okay.
took me so long.
Oh, no
How
worries.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Wow. I've been up since
Good.
about 4:30 this morning, looking at the news. You know how it
Right.
goes, and
Yeah.
doing things around the
Yeah.
house and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you played that clip. Was that a doctor talking about what
Yeah.
happened?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was a doctor
Also,
talking
it
about
was
how it was.
showing. Was it saying about the knee and the neck? Did it say anything about being kneed on the chest? Because I've been
Well,
seeing a lot of videos coming out
of the
lately of
other
different
fo- of
positions.
the
Other
other
two that
four
was
of the
kneeling on
other
him.
men, yeah, of the
Mm-hmm.
other police officers kneeling down on him, yeah, from behind the car, which we could not see. Yeah,
Right.
well, he mainly talked about how even if you were laying on your stomach and when you breathe, you don't get the full capacity of your lungs because of the pressure of what you're leaning against, and then your body, and then on top of that, having another body. Well, then now three bodies that we know of on top of you and trying to breathe is nearly impossible. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, it was a lot.
Breaking up a little.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You was a little froze. It's
Oh,
okay. Oh, not you.
okay. It must be the StreamYard, because yeah, no, everything is
Yeah,
good. Everything is good.
they don't want us
Right.
talking about it,
Right.
or they don't want
Especially when we're
to.
talking about, stuff that matters. Everybody gets frozen.
Okay. I was just putting you on another device so I could see the chat better. Because when you try to do it, because I'm on my phone,
Yeah.
um, but I was over on Trish channel early
Hmm.
this morning, and um, another young lady challenged her to find the footage of when he was put taken out of the police car and then put down on the ground or whatever. No one has found that.
They don't
Um,
even have that. They don't even have that.
but
They have him.
okay,
Uh-huh.
okay, now um, I think his name is Anthony McNeil was on her channel, and
Hmm.
he's a lot of people know him. He's very good with computers.
Hmm.
He went into the black web and found the footage. He was looking for what the lady was asking her for.
Hmm.
And that's when I first seen footage of the other men kneeling on him. Because what we've been seeing on the news is just that one man kneeling on him from the angle of just seeing his head and that one man kneeling. We
Right.
never seen around the car. I
Right.
always wondered why the girl never went around. I'm nosy. I would have been
Hmm.
all around the car.
Right.
She
Right.
stayed in that one spot. I
Right.
also seen a few minutes ago, I think one of the young men whose father owns the store that's in front of there, he confronted the Japanese police officer, and that police officer even pushed him. That young
Hmm.
boy was telling that man, he can't breathe. He's killing him.
Right.
He pushed that boy. I just seen that, but it's
Yeah,
a
I saw
whole
that.
lot of stuff. A
Yeah.
whole lot of stuff. Just give it time. It's gonna come out. But they got to answer to that
Yeah.
because now it's just not him that killed him.
Right.
They all killed him because
Right.
it could have been not him with his knee to his neck. It could have been the one with the knee to the back of his chest.
Right. 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 There is a photo from, I guess, one of the restaurants across the street or something. There is a
Mm-hmm.
photo from the video
Of
camp
the
of the
video.
rest of the
Mm-hmm.
officers on him. Yeah, I did see that. It's a lot. I even have a footage
It is.
of another officer punching this lady in the face because she punched the officer who was grabbing her. I'm gonna share that as well. But
Wow.
it's really all around. It's just, and I get this whole blue wall or whatever they call it, but somebody needs to stand up and say, hey, that's enough. I mean, that could have been stopped from easily an officer just tapping him like, yo, guys, get up. He can't, you know what I'm saying? Something.
Right.
He was
But
already
no,
handcuffed.
what
It
I
was like,
think it is,
mhm.
I might be wrong. I might be wrong. But did you notice how all of them had their hands in their pocket? I think that was a code to stand back.
Mm.
It was. It's a whole lot
It's
gonna
a code,
unfold with
right?
this
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a
because it
lot,
was awful funny. All of them had their hands in their pocket. Now,
right?
me at first, I was thinking, oh, he got his hand in his pocket because he want to antagonize the people watching, thinking
Mm-hmm.
that they might charge him. You
Mm.
know, like tackle him and knock him off of him.
Right.
And the other day I was listening to a live. I think it was just Trish again, and critical eye. What I can't think of the girl name. QI critical
With
thinking.
Lincoln. Okay.
She made a good point, and I was thinking this, and I'm like, wow, what would have happened? She said, what would have happened if somebody out there would have called the police on the police? Because
Mm.
that's what I would have done.
Right. Right. But would you
Because
really?
if any of us, like even if I was standing out there and I was recording that, I would have told somebody else, "Hey, call the police on this police officer." I would have stopped recording because there's so many phones out there,
Right.
and because it would have been documented that somebody called the police, even though it's
What?
documented through the video.
Well, the grocery store, where in which I guess the store that was in question that they were kind of in front of, um, the owner said to reporters that he had someone call the police on the police at a certain point when it started to escalate. Don't
Mm-hmm.
know
Because he
if,
had his knee on the back of that man. They had him down what 8 to 10 minutes.
yeah,
That's a
yeah, yeah.
long
That's a
time.
long time, right?
I
That's a long
mean,
time.
and then just to think. looking at that video, it hit me. I watched this man die. I
Mm-hmm.
watched this man be
Mm-hmm.
killed.
Yeah.
Just like the one with, I can't think of his name, the one with the cigarette selling the Lucy,
Yeah.
what's his name? We watched, when we saw that video, we watched that man being killed.
Right. Right. Right.
I just pray for our young men and now our young ladies, because look at the young lady, they went up in her house and just
Right. And just shot it up and then talk about some, oh, sorry, wrong house. After you charge the boyfriend of firing back with a firearm that he's legally to have. It's
right.
crazy. And you know, I
And
don't
I think it's a lot behind, because am I right or am I wrong? Didn't he also saw for some the
you were
guy?
you were breaking up a little bit, but I
Hmm.
think what you were
Did
saying
you hear
was
anything about that?
17. I think they worked in a club that's actually across the street from the police station or something. They've worked in that club together for 17 years. The George Floyd was a bouncer, and so was the officer. George Floyd did
Hmm.
the bouncing inside the club, and the officer was outside. He worked outside.
Hmm. So
So
he knew him.
right,
He knew him very well for
right,
17 years.
right. So he knew
I
of
knew
it.
I knew all the officers that worked at the clubs I was going in.
Right, right.
Well, they was trying to date me, but I ain't in the popo.
Well, I
Sorry,
mean,
I'll pass.
of course, Auntie Donna, because you're hot. But you know,
Yes, thank the Lord, and I'm still hot. Thank
right,
you,
right, of
Jesus.
course. But
But yes, but it's very sad.
yeah, it
I
is.
have. I'm just gonna put it out there. I have family members that are on the force in
Hmm.
several different states.
Yeah, so do I.
I have. I'm praying for them. I'm praying for them. I have one that's very close to where this happened at.
Hmm.
Hmm. I
No,
have one that is very, very close to where this happened at, and my heart just is like, it's just, oh Jesus.
yeah, it can be
Even though
really tough.
he's not in no uniform. Okay, I'm I can put that out there.
Hmm.
He don't know uniform, but he too high rank for all that. I try to tell y'all, I got him all kind of ways. I got him
Right,
behind the bars and everything.
I know
But
that.
anyway, this hit me hard because
Yeah.
he's so close to where this happened at. So I'm worried about him with riots, because they pull your
Hmm.
butt from behind that desk if they need you.
Hmm.
Get out there in the streets.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Uh, we have a lot of people. Who was that came up? Oh, my baby, Purple Paisley, Lupus Effect, which is our Auntie Rochelle, her son. She
Hmm.
was on I think QB Live yesterday, and she spoke of how her son resigned. He just gave it up. Then
Mm.
another lady came on and said she's giving it up. You got police officers that are resigning, that are quitting because they don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Right.
This is hitting. This is going
Way too far.
far.
Right. Yeah.
It is.
It's going way too
It's finally. It's finally. It shouldn't have took for it to be him. For it's so many of us. What can we do?
far.
And
Hmm.
that's my thing. What can we do? That's what we need to ask these officials. That's why I love coming to your channel, because
Hmm.
sometimes especially if I miss the news in the morning, which I
Right.
very rarely do. But I watch the news in the morning and I try to catch you if I ain't fell asleep.
Oh, well, thank you
Because
so
this
much.
baby, because I always watch the replay though, because this baby has some weird hours. I'm able to sit here and talk to you now because she's asleep.
Yeah.
Because if she was up, I'd be in the chat with
Right.
everybody
Be in the
else.
bushes. Right.
But my thing is, what we need to talk to our officials. We need somebody to guide us. I mean, besides the stars coming out
Hmm.
talking and different stuff,
Hmm.
we need somebody or people to join. Well, us as people, we need
Yeah.
to join together anyway. Um, but we need somebody to help us and guide us into things that we can do to make a change, to make a difference.
Well, I mean, the changes start with us. I know a lot of times we feel intimidated by the process of even running for your local offices and stuff like that, but that's where it starts. It starts in the ground roots level. So aldermans and things of that nature, even getting involved in just showing up, going to these town hall meetings that these people go
Right,
to regularly. They are faithfully
right,
going to these town hall meetings. We don't go,
right,
but they do. And they make sure, no, there's not going to be no liquor store in their neighborhoods. No,
right,
they're not going to have no Popeye's chicken nowhere close nearby where they live. If you want to put a Popeye's chicken, you better put it 20 miles away. They make sure of these things because they show up. We don't show up. We need to start showing up, not just show up when stuff like this happens, but show up all the time. Show up when nothing's happening. Show up. We don't do that. And that's that's part of the problem. And we can work on the crime that we commit amongst ourselves because you looking at somebody who's got a little bit more than you. You don't have it, so you feel you're gonna take it from that person. I get it, but in essence, you stealing from yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like even with the rioting, I get it. You're trying to bring awareness or bring to somebody's attention. Okay, but what about the people that don't have transportation that use that place as their local go-to market because they can't afford to go further out to get groceries or get whatever it is they need? Now they have no choice.
right. Now they're gonna have to go into
Right,
their neighborhoods
right, right,
now,
right.
and that might bring on a not so
Ex-
good
exactly,
because they're gonna
exactly,
be looking at you, want to
exactly,
arrest you for stealing, or
exactly,
they're
exactly.
gonna pick They're gonna pick opportunities
But that's my
to
point.
bully, to harass.
Right, to bully, to
It's
harass, to hey, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. That sort of thing. But it's like if we had that mindset even in the beginning, like yeah, okay, you're upset. Go to their neighborhoods and show them exactly how you treat them. How they
well,
treat us.
I heard they had their neighborhoods blocked off where you
Yeah,
couldn't get there and tear up
yeah,
their
you could,
stuff, but
right,
they had it
exactly.
open for us to tear up our own
Right, but
stuff.
they do that all the time. They do that all the time.
They
Even
had
when,
certain places blocked off,
right, even when the gentleman in
and then they had a nerve
Baltimore
to be
was killed.
guarding that police officer's house.
Right,
They guarding the police
30 to
officer's house with 30
30,
uh,
40
other.
police officers armed guarding that officer's house. Really?
Where was the 30 or 40 people when he had his knee in that man's
Right,
neck,
right,
and the
exactly.
other two was on the rest of his body that we didn't even know about.
Right,
That's why when that mayor, governor, whoever that was on the TV say that they got all the other clips
right.
that they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
But third degree, no, he
Yeah,
needs
third
the
degree is
electric chair.
that's why I put it
Nothing.
that's why I put it in my thing. Third degree for that state in particular is a maximum of 25 years. And do
And
you
wait a
think
minute,
he's
what's up with our system? Him and the other Chinese man, Japanese man,
mm-hmm. I think he's
whatever he
Chinese.
is. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know. I
He's
don't
of
mean no
Asian
disrespect.
descent. Yeah,
Chinese.
I know, I get you.
When they showed their records of
mm-hmm.
their work performances,
Mm-hmm.
what were they doing still out there in these people's streets? Police needed that bad. I know a lot of people need jobs. I know a lot of people want to be police. What were they still doing out here serving? And they
Well,
damn sure not protecting. Excuse my language.
no, you fine. Well, because the mindset of it is when you police a certain way to a certain group of people, you get cover because that's all they need you to do to begin with. So if you already had that mindset of you don't really like them kind of thing going on, a lot of times they're all for it. They'll let you ride on and you get to not continue some training that you're supposed to do and you still get a slide like the gentleman in Georgia who wasn't even qualified to actually have a firearm anymore, but he still was able to carry his gun and do all that up until he retired, only because people had his back.
Right.
And they look out for each other. And that's a sad thing when you think of a prosecutor, you think of someone that's supposed to protect anybody under the law, but the prosecutor is a lot of times protect the blue first, and it really doesn't matter what they done. It's just, we'll find a way to fix this. I mean, they've gone so far as in to pull up this man's allegedly he was in some kind of porno or some kind of group porn or some mess, but they've even pulled that out in the media. That I'm just like, why must we do this? Why must it always be the victim has to be victimized? Why do we have to then make the victim out to be like, well, he was a horrible person? It doesn't matter what he did or what he was trying to do. The fact of the matter is, you had him handcuffed. He did not resist, which you claim he did. He did not resist, and yet you still went further. So where's the issue? And the fact that all we get.
Well, I don't understand this about the fake $20 bill. Who called and said he had a fake $20 bill for them to pull him out the car anyway? Where's the proof of that?
Right.
Why did they ever get him out the car?
Well, who knows? I don't even think that, because personally, it looks like the car was already stopped. So whomever had called, you had to be looking at the car, telling the license plate, because the people were actually in the car. So,
wasn't it 2 other people in the car with him?
Yeah, it was 2 other people in the car. They got out the passenger side and the passenger back door, and the officer was talking to them. They walked Floyd around to where he was already handcuffed, and they sat him down, and then other officers came later on. So again, where was the problem? If there was an issue, why weren't you in the store talking to the store owner about whatever had happened, giving him his citation, and kept it moving? It was almost like it was a watch situation. And then when they figured out who it was like, oh, let me call so-and-so because he has a beef with him. It just seemed too much of a setup. It was just a lot.
Yeah, you said word right there, setup.
Yeah,
it's real weird, and a whole lot more. I'm gonna sit back.
Yeah, and that's what I,
It's a lot behind it. You never know if them officers set that man up because he is dating a white woman.
Right. He was dating a white woman.
You don't know if they're jealous of that.
Right. He probably was, against police brutality too.
The fact that they knew each other.
Right. Mm-hmm. He probably was against police brutality. He may have, been at a few functions in which, he was standing up for his people or the rights of his. There's a lot of things that could have played in the role of this. The last video he did, he was talking about, the police brutality, the things we do to each other, and things of that nature. So he could have been very involved in the community to the point where it frustrated them. Because again, all this does is bring attention to the disparities in our community with police and their over policing of our communities and lightly policing of their own. So it's really, it's really disheartening. It really is.
It's just as a human being, just to think that you can't even, we in the United States of America, you can't even go out your house without having to pray for the Lord to protect you and bring our men back home safe, bring our women back. It's like we're living in a war. Like
right.
Truthfully, I'm going to be honest. It's like we're being hunted.
Yeah.
Like we're being hunted down like wild animals.
Well, we always have. That's it's never changed.
But you would think in 2020, with the technology, they don't even care. He didn't even care that he was being videotaped.
No, because again, people.
See how bold. I mean, he got even more cocky with it. Like,
right, because people don't understand.
I'm about to kill him right in front of you.
Right, because people don't understand that with you getting clearance from the top, that means a lot, especially someone in an officer's position, someone of military kind of mindset. When you get the okay green light from the top to go ahead and handle business, that's all you need to hear. because that lets you know right off top that you're going to be protected. Regardless of what you do, they're going to find a way to make sure that you're okay. I mean, you have the wife, she wind up filing for divorce, but then you figure, okay, how many other times has he done this to other?
Wait a minute. The police officer wife filed for divorce. She just filed, or she had been filed?
No, she had just filed. She just filed for divorce. But it's like you filed for divorce.
Out of this shit.
Right, but
I ain't standing with you.
Exactly, but you filed for divorce only because the pressure of what you of what you're under right now.
Look at the way he act. He probably had them been beating her. That's her way out of this. She getting the body. I don't blame him.
Right.
Because if he act like that, he's probably the type of man that's probably, if not allegedly, physically abusive, mentally abusive.
Oh, okay. I'll go to
too cocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Dunn, I saw a piece of your video earlier today, and I also seen the three men real quick in the video that you put out today, earlier today also.
Yeah.
With the three men kneeling down on him in one stand. Ooh, it's just
Wow, she filed for divorce to keep his pension. Wow, that's interesting.
She filed for a divorce so he can keep his pension? What a divorce got to do with his job? Well, they got loopholes and everything, huh?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I was about to say they have loopholes and everything, so I wouldn't be surprised at this point. The man was a second grade teacher. Wow. No, see, and you won't hear stuff like that. Like, you won't hear the fact that he was a second grade teacher. No, you'll hear.
Who was a second grade teacher?
I don't know if she meant the man. They filed for divorce so she can get his pension. Interesting. The fact that he could still get a pension is ridiculous.
Oh, she said no, she gonna get his pension. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Floyd. Floyd was a second grade teacher. Was a teacher. Yeah, was a second grade teacher. No, they're not gonna say that. They're gonna talk about stuff like him being a bouncer or things of that nature, because it's
now,
more.
You mean to tell me the man was a second grade teacher and all they could talk about was that he was a bouncer at a club?
That's it.
He was a teacher, and the part-time job was the club.
That's it, though.
Are you serious?
But that's it. That's how they do it. It's always go for the worst, so that way, in the eyes of certain people, of course, it's a justifiable. It's something that's like.
Let me ask you this. Is there any way another higher ranked person can ask for a second autopsy?
Yeah, well, the family has
outside person.
Yeah, the family has hired a second autopsy. The gentleman who's done the HBO autopsies, he used to have a series on HBO, like where he dug up people. He dug up Medgar Evers. He's exhumed rather, it's a better word, sorry. He exhumed the body of Medgar Evers to re-examine how he died and who killed him and where the bullet head came from and all that. So the family has hired him to do the second autopsy on the body.
I'm so glad.
Yeah,
I am so glad. I would feel much better when that second autopsy come out, because that first one is a bunch of bull. Because how he died from natural causes.
Yeah, here he is.
Well, he's gonna fall dead driving that car, that truck. He just died.
Right.
Because he died with three men kneeling down on him. Because I'm gonna say three men now, because now that I know that it was three, not one.
Right. Yeah. Let me see if I can find a picture of the guy. But he's an older white gentleman. He's done the family has
probably won't Jesse. He's gonna
yeah, he's gonna tell the truth. He's
he's
not
gonna
even
want
gonna,
justice.
yeah, he's not even gonna sugarcoat it. He's gonna tell it exactly how it happened, what it is. That's what he does. He's been doing it for years. When I was a kid, I used to watch it all the time, even though sometimes it would give me nightmares because sometimes it was pretty graphic as far as the details of
Yeah, no,
what had
I
happened to the
can't do
body
that.
and
I
stuff.
take my hat off the Bama girl because, honey, I can't.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Once they got their clothes on there, if they in the casket, it don't bother me none. And if it's somebody I love, yes, I do bend down and give them a kiss. Yes, I
Right.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Or I just touch them because the old myth is that if you touch them, you won't
Touch it.
have nightmares.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. My
if you
dad
touch
used to
the
tell me that
body,
too.
you won't have nightmares.
Yeah.
So I've always touched them, but if it's my loved one, I touch
Mhm.
them and I kiss them. Yes,
Yeah.
I do. They like, oh, you gonna get bombed and flu, honey. Ain't nothing messed up these lips, all them dead bodies. You doggone right. I kiss my mama, my daddy, my
Right.
grandma, my aunts, my uncles,
Right.
friends. It don't.
Yeah. That is
Yes,
true.
I do. Some people like, oh, look, I'm gonna kiss them. They more safer than some of them walking around out here in this world. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But my thing with this is
Mhm.
it's it's it pulls at the heart
Yeah. Yeah. It does.
strings.
It does for the simple fact that he was
I
calling
mean,
for his mother.
we dealing with yeah. Now, what is this with the? I'm not understanding this. How maybe you could explain it better. What is Trump trying to do by calling in these troops and stuff for
He
uh for the rioters? Because
right.
first of all, he was disrespectful calling them what do you call them, thugs.
Thugs.
First
Yeah.
of all, if they didn't get out there and thuggy, was not going to happen to that man
No.
or those
Um.
men.
And
Nobody.
it's funny.
They were going to let it ride for 6 months before they would done anything to
Right.
him,
And it's funny how he calls
if
these people
anything.
thugs, but he didn't call those white men who killed Ahmaud Arbery thugs. He hasn't called them thugs or mentioned
Bingo.
anything about that at all. And they were more thuggish than anybody because they actually hunted down that man. So
Right.
if you want to talk about thugs, that's where he needs to go. But mainly, he's all about show, pomp, and circumstance. And he uses, when he says things like if they start looting, we start shooting. Again, that's just the
Oh,
green
okay,
light
right.
for the rest of any enforcement that he brings down there that is trigger happy anyway. Don't really have a liking for us. That's just a green light for them. So he knows what he's doing, and then when things get out of control, he can back up and say, "Well, I didn't tell them to go and do it, but you sure enough did with the words that you spew." But yeah, I can't with him. I can't with him. He just this is the same person that wanted.
He make me want to throw up to watch him.
I mean, this is the same person that in
My
New York,
stomach be like,
right? He's the same person that in New York during the Central Park Five wanted those 5 young teenagers to be executed, and constantly called for it and paid for a full ad in the paper. So his mindset has never changed. You know what I'm saying? People say, "Oh, he's not." No, his mindset has never changed. He just knows how to, you got to pander to people. In politics, it's just, okay, if I rub your back, I'll give you this. You'll get away from me. But your core ideologies are still the same. He does not see it for any of us, no matter. Why do you think he only has one
well,
person
first of
in
all,
his cabinet?
I'm not going to get into it with him about him, but I'm just going to say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
He is not for nobody but the rich. He don't really care what color he is. Now, he don't care about color people, but he really don't care about his own kind if they poor.
If they poor. No, he don't. But
and they don't even realize that. They be doing all these rallies and running behind him,
That's it.
supremacists and all that. And he don't care about you.
Yeah.
If you ain't got no money.
Right. But because the common thread for them is though they don't care for us. They both don't care for us. So that's the common thread that works in his favor. But other than that, he doesn't see it for them, and they don't see it that he's gutting away the stuff that they're using right now.
And another thing he like about them, he know they're gonna get out and they're gonna vote and they're gonna stick together.
Right.
That's what he like
Exactly.
about him. They're gonna
They're
come to his rallies. They're gonna show up in the town where ain't
always,
nobody else gonna show up for him.
always. But that's why we need to show up. That's why we need to show up even more. We can't sit this one out. There's no way we can sit this one out. If we sit this one out, everybody that has died by the hands of police officers, you are saying it's okay if you sit this one out. And I know it's not, Biden is not the best choice, but I can't do another 4 years of watching people die like this senselessly for no reason.
Right.
For no reason. I mean, come on. Like at some point, we got to wake up and say, "Hey."
Now,
we need to do something.
somebody put in the chat. I see somebody put in the chat. They could use the second autopsy to sue the police department for wrongful death. Can they also sue the first person that done the autopsy?
Well, they can't sue the first person that done the autopsy. What they will do is they will sue this. They wind up suing the city. So that's how that works. So they wind up suing the city for wrongful death and all that kind of stuff, and all that gets included.
This girl about to roll off the bed.
And that all gets included in that. So they don't particularly go after them, but they do go after the city. So we'll see. What I don't like though is to calm the nerves of the people. They do things like they put forth charges, but they don't follow through because they wind up dropping them at some point or saying, "Oh no, see, there's other evidence, so therefore we're not going to follow through with the charges." No, you need to follow all the way through. He needs to be charged, because the funny thing is, and I mentioned this yesterday on Miss T Velocity's live that she did last night, that you guys should check out. It was good too. That if we notice, all of the black cops that had been involved in any kind of shooting or accidental shooting of anyone, a pedestrian, altercation, they have gone to jail. They have been convicted and are now serving time. But very few white officers have been charged. I'm just saying. So there's obviously a thing there. It's like, oh no, we're not going to charge you, but we'll charge them, So it really just needs to stop altogether. I think, we definitely need to do a better job of organizing and really getting our points across, really having an agenda to submit to these public officials. And if they're not willing to follow the agenda, then we don't vote. But we just do not vote. We have another candidate in the wings to move forward. And that's what we need to do. We need to just stop oh, well, he doesn't have my agenda, I'm not going to vote. No. Find someone who does. And then we can push them forward. But we're going to stop handing these elections over to these politicians. Stop giving them your vote.
Right.
Really, stop
and
giving
vote
them your
for
vote.
everything.
Right.
Don't just vote for the presidency. I vote for everything. The school, the everything.
Right.
I get out and
if
I
you
vote
don't
for it all.
know,
I post my picture. Now when I was in Georgia, I used to get the little we used to get, well, they probably still do. They get the little sticker that you put on your clothes of the peach.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah. Right.
in
Right.
Jersey,
Yeah.
they don't give out stickers. So what I always do, I post a picture of me standing by the flag, and everybody know, when I walk out the door from wherever I went to go vote.
Well, here in Maryland, they give out stickers and say
stickers. Yeah, they don't do it here in Jersey. So I usually post a picture of me standing by the flag saying, okay, I went and did my part. Now, to my Facebook family and friends, I'll just put up, now go do your part, or you get to talk and shut up. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody that didn't vote.
Right. Nobody who didn't vote. You don't have room to say too much of anything, but you're complicit in what's going on. And that's what needs to stop. We need to stop being complicit.
You have some people, Cap, will say, well, there was nobody to vote for. I didn't like neither one of them. You better do some pros and some cons and pick one.
Hey, listen, like I tell, and I've said this all the time, and I will keep saying this. When we buy things, we may not like everything about it. You buy a house, you don't like everything about the house, but there are certain things about that house that you fell in love with. Even with a car, you may not like everything about your particular car, but there are certain things, there was something in particular that you liked about the car, whether it was the leather seats, the navigation system, the horsepower, something about that vehicle you liked, and you said to yourself, okay, I'm gonna buy it. It's the same thing. Hey, we're not gonna like everything that these politicians are saying or doing, but what you will do is you find something that fits in line with you, and then you move forward from there. And yeah, if what you can do,
your community,
right,
or something, somebody might be going for like education, for
right,
they're going to do something for the schools,
right,
or the seniors. It's got to be something,
right. And then you hold them to it. You hold them to it. You go to your local state officials and you write them and say, hey, this president that I, gave my vote to is not pushing this agenda. What can you do? Because if you don't do it, then I'm looking at you next. Right. And that's what we need to start doing, putting pen to paper. This whole putting feet on the ground and marching is cool. It's great. It brings awareness. They get nervous. But then what do? They call more reinforcements to add more pressure to smother you and keep you silent. We don't need to do that anymore.
Right.
We don't need to do that anymore. Right. The breaking and destroying of stuff to get your anger out. Cool, okay. You looting and taking some stuff, and you see white folks in there too, looting and taking some stuff, but they don't really show them. They just show us, because it's just a us thing that we the only ones that loot and take stuff, which is not true. Because when they win a championship for a hockey team or something stupid, they doing the same things, and it's just men letting off aggression or just blah, 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 blah. And you see how nicely the police officers stand there. They don't use no tear gas. They don't treat them like the opposition. They just let them do it and keep them at a certain distance. That's all. Why we all don't get the same treatment? Because we don't.
Yeah. And another thing we need to start doing is learning our laws, learning a little bit more about our laws, especially in whatever state you're living in. We got to start studying our laws, because that's one thing they love. We don't know what's right, what's wrong.
And that's the thing. That's the thing they use against us, because we don't know it, and some of them really don't know it. They'll tell you anything.
Right.
They'll tell you, oh yeah, that's Article Section 2. It is you're supposed to not have a beer can open or exposed. Well, if it's not open for me to drink it and I'm just carrying it from the store, I can do that in my right. But you not knowing, they'll say, hey, you're not supposed to have that beer can. Well, it's unopened. You're not supposed to have it. Dump it. You know what I'm saying? They do that because they know you don't know, and it's like, we have to start arming ourselves, not just arming ourselves militarily with going to get your license and doing it the right way, which I think we should do that as well, but arming yourselves with the law, knowing your rights, knowing that when you get pulled over, these are your rights. You don't have to comply all the time. When they say, oh, you have to comply. No, because they have to give you a reasonable answer of why they're doing what they're doing. If not, have them call their supervisor, because there's no reason.
Because I had, and one thing I do, and I got stopped one time by a police officer. He was a black police officer, but he stopped me, and he said I didn't stop at the stop sign. I did. I stopped, but it was a quick stop. But I stopped, and I made a right turn. I stopped and made a right turn, and he got behind me. And the first thing, after I gave him, my license and all the paperwork he needed, I said, "Excuse me, officer, if you don't mind, I would like to reach down right here to pick up a pen and a piece of paper, because I want to write down your name and your ID number, okay?" I let him know what I was going to do. I just didn't reach down. Am I giving you, I'm not going to let you murk me. So I let him know, and that let him know, okay, she's about her business. She's going to take down my badge, my name, or whatever. She can do follow-ups. All he gave me was a warning.
Right.
But my whole thing was, I stopped. I said, I stopped. I just didn't stop long enough for you. That's
for you. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And they have quotas to meet. Note that in the first of the month and towards the last of the month, they have quotas to meet. So they sit on the highway ready to pull people over regularly because they have obligations to meet. And granted, that's fine, but make sure you just get the people.
Well, no, he didn't like. No, he didn't like where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
He lived 2 doors down from my ex, so evidently he had something.
Right.
He saw my car parked
Yeah.
in his front yard, not in his driveway. My car was parked up in his yard, so you seen my car. You
Yeah.
live 2 doors down from him, okay?
Yeah.
So you already know.
That too.
You know, officers observe everything. So he knew once when he saw me turn that corner, he was already. He wasn't. He was, you know, around the corner. He saw me and saw me turn that corner. He's probably like, "Oh, that was her by his house."
Right.
So he automatically stopped me. And you know, I can't say that ex was not someone on the proper side of the law. I might say.
Right. Yeah.
So he thought he was gonna catch. He thought
Catch
he was
me.
gonna catch me up. But
Yeah.
no, baby, you ain't catch me up. You ain't gonna catch me up. You
Right.
God willing.
Yeah. No, and a lot of that is a problem too.
When I did that with asking him his, you know, putting down his name against himself, that changed him up because he was actually he was gonna write me a ticket.
Yeah, and I mean it's your power. Right, it's your power to have. You have every right to write down that officer's number and give a thorough complaint every time you get pulled over. And I don't care how small it is, even if they say, "Oh, your taillight was out," you know your taillight isn't out. You know, you get that officer's name, number, and you call in to wherever you need to call in, and you write out that complaint. You send that email. You make that complaint verbal as well. You don't just give it let it go, let it fall by the wayside. Never, because if you do, they will continue to keep doing the same thing over and over.
To benefit them, they will bug the hell out you. Now I know one time, years ago, almost 30 years ago, or like 25 years ago, I was living in an apartment. It was a first floor apartment. And all of a sudden, I worked night shift, and all of a sudden, I heard a big crash. Well, this man strung out on dope had bust the stone window in my living room window. But he had done went up and down the street, tearing off people mirrors, busting out people windows of their cars. And when they finally caught him, one of the police officers, them trying to get the man in the car, some of the man blood transferred on his wounds or whatever. What you want? You want more pizza? Okay, I'll get you more pizza. But they came to my house. They took a report. They had me come to the police station, and the police officer, also came from out the back, and he told me, "Did I see anything?" I say, "Sir, no. I was woken up. I was woken up from the crash, and I was in my night clothes and everything." I said, "By the time I got around that corner, y'all already had him. They had him handcuffed like a hog, you know, by his hands and his feet. They put him in the back of that car like a pig." But he was saying how he was on desk duty now, and that he has to have a AIDS test every 6 months because of the blood from the man to him. Even though the man didn't have HIV, he said he still had to test it. He couldn't do active duty. I'm quite sure he probably can do it now, but you know, it's just to say if it got something to do with them, they're gonna check everything out from the top to the bottom, the sides and everything. Okay, baby, come on.
Yeah, they sure will.
I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to be on here because she done got up. But
no, you're perfectly fine, Auntie Donna. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, well, let me tell you, when she starts screaming, I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, she know I'm talking about it too. I actually got her on my back. I carry her. I've been putting her on my back, carrying her on my back. It's easy to transport. She's spoiled. She don't like to walk.
Right.
But yes, it's we just got to protect ourselves, know our laws,
Right.
know what they can and cannot do to us. And like I say, each state laws are different.
Different. Yeah. Yeah. And know whether you're in a Commonwealth state or
Right.
a regular state. The Commonwealth
Hmm.
states are different. Their laws are slightly different. So, it's always good to know the laws in which you reside. There is one
My
other.
thing is, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's
Right. And
next?
that's right. And that's my thing. It's always like, okay, this is cool, but what's next? We never follow through with a what's next. We get angry, you do all this violence, you burn this stuff down in your own communities, and then what's next? Because
Do you think Biden until they do get more of a death penalty or more than just the third degree for him? A lot of people are not pleased with that third degree.
no, I mean a lot of people are not pleased with it, but at the same time, um, we when we don't fight for laws or things in that nature, you end up getting or having to deal with what you got. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at this point,
Yeah.
third degree. Okay, it's a max of 25 years. All right. That's just a charge. That he has not been found guilty of anything. All this could drop away. So the charge could just be to keep people quiet because it seems to be something that they've been doing lately. Is just throwing out charges and then later on not following through with the charges and then wait for everything to calm down and then all of a sudden you find out, oh, they're not going to follow through with the charges. In this, they should definitely follow through because it was a definite murder. But we'll wait and see. But I just think that burning down and looting, though,
No.
you only do one thing. What you do is you allow for them to then come in, right, and do the whole gentrification thing to your areas. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I am against the burning and the looting and all that kind of stuff. Because all that does, you just open up prime real estate for them to go in, rebuild, put condos, and do all this stuff. And then you kind of wonder to yourself, hey, what happened?
They might not build back what you tore
Right.
down.
Then because they're not. They're not. Why would they? Why would they? You're doing them a service.
Well, the store that it happened in front of is that store still standing?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a good question. But the things you don't burn down stadiums. You don't burn down this and then the other. And I'm not saying it's all our people doing the burning down. I personally think that somebody wrote, I saw it on my timeline, I think the other day, that they think the police themselves burned down that precinct. Yeah, because I mean,
and some of the supremacists, whatever you call them,
yeah,
the
the white
people,
supremacists.
they
Yeah.
fitting in. They're in
They came from out of town, right? They came from out
Yeah.
of town disguising and tearing up stuff too, because you want to keep that narrative going that they're destructive. See, look what they do. That's why we don't give them nothing. Because but who has to give us anything? We don't need them to give us nothing. If they don't give us a dime, so what? We can do it ourselves.
Right.
And that's the mindset that we need to have together collectively.
That's what they don't want us to do.
Right. We don't need them. Yeah, it'd be great if a few artists and entrepreneurs that are Black would recycle their money back into communities or whatever, where in which we could be able to create our own businesses, have our own grocery stores, so we don't have to go to these commercial chains, have our own sneaker stores, our own this, our own that, as we used to back when it was quote unquote separate but equal. Because we had all these things. We had our own banks. We had, our own mom and pop shops as far as groceries are concerned, or places to eat. But it became a situation in which in education, we did not have the same things. We did not have the same books. We did not have the same material. So therefore,
Here, take this one.
The gap became bigger. And in trying to close that, it was like, okay, well, how about we just have separate but equal? And then I'm sure they looked at it and went, hey, if we do that, if we give them the same materials we have, we're giving them a leg up. No, how about we just integrate it? Because if you integrate it, I can still destroy. I can still give you less. I can just take a few of you and sprinkle you over here and put you in this school and take a few of you and put you here. I don't have to take all of you. As long as I take some, that's good, right? All right, good. So we're good. But meanwhile, the community school still remained the same. They still didn't get anything. They still didn't get anything of benefit. All they did was take some of the students out and put them other places. So, I mean, it kind of destroyed that whole mindset of community that we did have, in my personal opinion. So.
Okay. I'm captivated.
You fine.
I'm going to go back down in the chat because she's getting ready to put on her cartoons.
All right.
I don't want you to get no copyright. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Going back down the chat. You have a blessed day, sweetie.
You too.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. But yeah. So there's this other video that I did find that I want you guys to take a look at as well. I think this is it. I think this is disgusting, but just watch.
Oh! Damn, yo! That was her fault there. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm about to gotta tell you.
Yeah, so the levels of craziness are it's out there. It definitely is out there. And we have to remember that a lot of people think that anything other than us is better. So there are a lot of people that look like us that agree with that side of law enforcement and have no problem doing that. You could have restrained that woman better than punching her in the face. Right. And you see, he didn't hit her back. She hit him first, twice, and he did not hit her back. So for you to take it upon yourself to hit that woman is disgraceful. And again, as an officer, your job is to defuse, period. You don't do that. Like that's just totally ridiculous. But now, if he does get reprimanded, watch his reprimand be so more severe than probably even the rest of those cops that had their body weight on George Floyd. Watch it. It's just really crazy. It's just really ridiculous. But yeah, so anybody else have anything to add? Any questions, comments, concerns? I know I didn't get to read everybody's comment as going through, but I just really hope that we get to a place where we can really make changes and not just, be angry and destroy, because we're so much greater than that. Look at my question. Okay. Which one? Look who had punched her first. He did. Oh, how do we push the voting? We push the voting by going to your local canvassing areas. The Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party have canvassing areas in your local neighborhoods. You probably just have to look around. Usually they take up office space in places where it may have been closed, or they may have been doing some kind of renovation, or there was nothing there. They usually try to do that, and you see them pop up, especially around this time. And go in there and just ask questions. Even if you don't know who to vote for, just ask questions. It's always good to go, hey, I'm curious about who's running, what they're running for. They will give you a list of everybody who is running for whatever office during this election season. Probably even go over the candidates with you, or you get a pamphlet or some paper or internet access so where you can look up and research these candidates for yourself. But we have to start arming ourselves with more than just going out there and marching. We have to do more. We have to do more, because destroying it is doing nothing but allowing them to come right in, clean it up, and then after they clean it up, they're going to build stuff in that same area that you can't afford, that pushes you out. So you do them a favor when you do this. And that's what I try to tell people. But of course, not everybody listens. But when you do stuff like this, all it does is just usher them in to clean it up and then wipe you out of the equation altogether. So I think, we need to definitely come together. We definitely need to know our laws, hands down. You need to know what's going on in your community. You really do. You need to be on top of who your alderman is, who you can go to if you have a problem. When your pothole that you drive by every day or try to drive around is still there, you need to be able to call up your city council and say, hey, that pothole is still not replaced or filled. And if you don't fill it by this particular time, me and the rest of your constituents will get together and vote you out of office. That's the kind of power that we need to do. That is the kind of looting that we need to do. We need to loot these offices. We don't need to loot these stores for them to just rebuild them in our communities again. No, we need to loot these offices and say, hey, no, we don't want this in our office. It's funny how we have a church in our area on every corner and a liquor store between the churches, but that's all we have. That and fast food restaurants and things of that nature. Quick grab stuff that we already have health disparities, stuff that just add to it. But there's nothing of interest. There's no health food markets. If they are, they're further out, and we got to go into their neighborhoods to go get it. Why is that? Just why? And again, when we burn down this stuff, then the people who don't have access to the other markets or can't get in the car and go 20 miles to the nearest Walmart or whatever, then where can they go? But I get it. When we're angry, we're not thinking. But we need to start thinking. We need to channel our anger a certain way and start thinking about what can we do to really hit home. Like even the people say the blackout on July 7th. Okay, that's cool. But that's July. So we're going to give them a whole month of June money, right? We're going to give them a whole month of June money to then black out on July 7th. I mean, I'm still going to do it, but I'm just saying, I feel like we do something, you do action now. I'm not giving you a whole month of money, because then when July 7th comes, because you already know that that's possible, all of June month money, you're going to be able to cushion that one day blow, because you're going to buy up stuff all of June. So when July 7th comes and you wind up doing a blackout, and then everybody, of course, is not going to be with it because, I don't follow the trends. I don't do this stuff because everybody else does it. Then what do you do? What do you do? Because we need to start realizing that man could have been Any one of us. Could have been us, could have been our uncles, could have been our fathers, just could have been us. It really just could have been us, which is definitely something to wake up to. And there's this last, before I go, but there was this last clip I wanted to show you guys that I thought was pretty insightful. And it had some truth to it. It definitely had a lot of truth to it. So, what was this? I think it was this one. Let me see. Yeah.
This is a coordinated activity happening across this nation. And so we are in a state of emergency. Black people are dying in a state of emergency. We cannot look at this as an isolated incident. The reason why buildings are burning are not just for our brother George Floyd. They're burning down because people here in Minnesota are saying to people in New York, to people in California, to people in Memphis, to people all across this nation, enough is enough. Yeah, right. And we are not responsible for the mental illness that has been inflicted upon our people by the American government, institutions, and those people who are in positions of power. I don't give a damn if they burn down Target. Because Target should be on the streets with us, calling for the justice that our people deserve. Where was AutoZone at the time when Philando Castile was shot in a car, which is what they actually represent? Where were they? So if you are not coming to the people's defense, then don't challenge us when young people and other people who are frustrated and instigated by the people you pay. You are paying instigators to be among our people out there throwing rocks, breaking windows, and burning down buildings. And so young people are responding to that. They are enraged, and there's an easy way to stop it. Arrest the cops. Charge the cops. Charge all the cops. Not just some of them. Not just here in Minneapolis. Charge them in every city across America where our people are being murdered. Charge them everywhere. That's the bottom line. Charge the cops. Do your job. Do what you say this country is supposed to be about, the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired. Don't talk to us about looting. Y'all are the looters. America has looted Black people. America looted the Native Americans when they first came here. So looting is what you do. We learned it from you. We learned violence from you. We learned violence from you. The violence was what we learned from you. So if you want us to do better, then damn it, you do better.
Yeah. Oops, my bad. Wrong button. Yeah, so hey, how are you? Welcome everybody who just popped in. Thank you for coming. Hey, Boss Lady New Jersey, how are you? Yeah, so it's been just a trying, very day that I can't see nobody's comment. Hold on. Thing froze. Okay, something froze. Okay, I can't see comments anymore. So if you can see me, please put a 1 in the chat, because I don't know what's going on with StreamYard right now. I guess they're having an issue, of course, because you can't speak truth to power, because, of course, you know, they try to stop you by every means. But like I've been saying, I think we definitely need to get on board and do something different. I can't see people's comments. Let me see if I paste this in here. No, I was trying to see something because I can't see people's comments. I don't know. It seems to have frozen. So I'm just gonna end this. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming through. I definitely appreciate it. I can't see your comments. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, so I'm just gonna end this. Wait. No. Hold on. Hey, K Storm, what's going on?
You have to refresh them. There's something wrong with YouTube.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, let me just refresh this thing.
Did that work?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that works. I see it now. All right. Thank you. So what's going on?
I don't want nothing. That's all I want to tell you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Look at him. Ain't he cute? Okay.
No, you're making me blush. Stop it.
Okay. That's all I want. Well,
Okay.
I'll tell you a story.
What?
I had gotten a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you probably had this happen to you before too because you handsome. But I had gotten a ticket, and I'm just me. I dress the way I dress, whatever. So
Right.
I had went to court, and I had a white judge, a white lady,
Mm-hmm.
and her daughter actually got raped by a black guy.
Mm.
So when I got up there, she suddenly was like, "You're so pretty. You dress so nice." I'm looking at her like, "Just don't take me to jail." I'm not thinking like that.
Right.
And come to find out, I had told my mom about it. She said, because you dress nice and they're used to black people coming up here looking crazy.
Right.
So she was giving you a compliment. I'm like, that ain't no compliment. You know, I'm not, because that's how I was raised. So I'm not looking at it like I'm no better than anybody else.
Right.
But she threw out my ticket. I didn't have to pay court costs and everything. She just kept on saying, "You look so nice. You're so pretty." I'm like, okay, thank you.
Right.
Because my head was on not taking me to jail.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So that does happen.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I've always been taught that even as a kid, it was like when you go to court, make sure you dress up. Do not go to court just showing up like you just woke up. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Because a lot of times that could be, what the person may look at. My brother, even when my brother's 6 years older than me, than I, and when, of course, he's older, he's always like, "Oh, where's your watch? Put your watch on." He does that to his son now. It's always like, "Why don't you have a watch? You should put a watch on." And it's just little things. We may, think they're pointless or whatever, but there are certain little things that people do look at. And it may change the tone in which something may happen. I mean, dressing up for court when you already know that you have to go for a particular reason may change out in your favor. It doesn't make you any less. You're not saying that you have to cower down or be less than. No, you can still be yourself, but present yourself well. Present yourself knowing that, hey, I'm coming here to either deal with the consequences or to hear what you have to say and let me say my piece. And that's it. We don't have to, we don't have to dress a certain way to say, "Oh, I'm not conforming," because it has nothing to do with conforming to anything. It has everything to do with always present yourself. Always present yourself first.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget the belt. Right. And don't forget the belt, as Boss Lady New Jersey says. But thank you so much, K-Storm, for stopping through.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you.
Have a good.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. I think I ain't gonna hold you guys any longer unless anybody has something else they wanted to say or add. Another question of any kind. Again, lastly, before I go, I say, please, it's important that you vote. It is also highly important that in this time of the census that you fill it out. If you don't want to fill it out, that comes in your email, please make sure that you fill it out online. The census that's what brings funding to your communities. The census also brings legislators to your communities as well. So, it divvies out how many representatives you're going to have in your counties. So please make sure you fill that out. Funding for your after school programs, your schools, anything. The census is highly important. So please make sure you fill it out. Yeah, it may be invasive. They may ask questions that you feel like, what's the point? The point is funding. The point, representatives, people that represent you, that look like you. So please make sure that you pay attention to that, because if you don't, they will. And they have no problems excusing you from the conference. Like, they don't have no problem excusing you from the table, and we don't have to give them license to do so. We don't, but we do, because we feel like we're not involved anyway. But that's the mindset that they want us to keep, and we have to break that. As a people, we do have to break that. Everybody may not be into politics, and that's cool. But at a time in which politics is being used to govern you, you better start picking up something and really getting focused on something, because these things are happening, and they're happening to imprison, to keep us behind the curve. And, the gap was already started. We were already started with a gap. So we don't want to have to keep, making this gap wider within ourselves. We have to start coming together and doing something better. Having a plan of action, not just of destruction, but a plan of action. Even after the Civil War, there was an area of reconstruction. We have to have an area of reconstruction, an era, of reconstruction. We have to come together, and not just lip service, and not just, the famous rappers or movie stars who already have the money, talking and then meeting with officials. No, we need regular people. We need everyday folks that grind through this every day, that live in these areas and neighborhoods. We need those type of people every day fighting. For the people in Florida, know that Trayvon Martin's mother is running for someone on the city council, I believe. Don't quote me, but I know she's running for a local office. People in Florida, in that area, you need to go out and vote. You need to find out information, canvas for her if need be. We need to see more people that look like us, that live in the neighborhoods we live in our local official spots. We need that. That's the only way you affect change from the inside. We can't affect change by having the same people who make a whole lot of money sitting in them seats, really doing the less for the community and doing more for big business and buildings and hotels and casinos and all those things to put in our neighborhoods and stadiums to move us out, but we don't have anything else, and we don't have nothing to speak for it. So I think we definitely need to. Are you back?
Yeah.
We definitely
and
need
one last thing. Also, if you have kids, speak at the schools. If you live in a gated community, speak on the board. Don't just brag about where you stay. Right. I stay in a white neighborhood. I stay in okay, that don't matter. You got money now. Make your money count.
Right. Yeah. It really doesn't matter, especially when, the people that look like you in neighborhoods that you grew up in are suffering. That really it doesn't say a lot. And I get it. Sometimes we want to move away. You want a better life. But all right, you may want that, and that's fine. But at the same time, what are you doing to help others?
Exactly. And if you have that better life, instead of being on Facebook bragging about it, looking down at where you came from, speak for them. Go to those communities and speak at those schools before they shut them down or tear them down.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing.
Right. And just don't speak at the school only if they're giving you some kind of honorary doctorate or some kind of honorary thing for you to boast about for some work that you didn't do, some dissertation that you didn't write.
Exactly, because
But
they're
what you
tearing down the projects, and
right,
then black people sit back and talk about the black people that stay in the projects, but you don't want them to come where you at, and the white people don't even want you there. Don't make me
right,
start preaching.
right. I mean, no, it's very true. And then they're looking at your wallet or your money and find out how much you have in order to be here. And the only people they particularly care about are the ones that's entertaining them.
There you
So
go.
and as entertainers they need to be mindful of that too. Like, yeah, you may have a backing, but you only have a backing because of the entertainment you provide. If you really start
Exactly.
talking about these issues more than you perform, watch your sales decline.
Exactly.
Watch the CEOs of the record companies start to have a sit down with you like, hey, you might want to lay low with all this, all this talk and stuff you're doing. So I think it is important that we put our money to work. We put our pen and papers to work. We put our voices to work. We put our vote to work. But this whole destruction of property, it's not helping us.
And people don't realize that, because you see how fast Trump broke his neck to help Kim Kardashian get the black people, quote unquote, out of jail. But as soon as this happened, he didn't jump on this until they start looting. Then he want to say he want to send troops. I mean, it don't make sense. Like, pay attention to what's going on around you.
Right, right.
It's
And he,
about the money. They have
right,
money, so he
yeah,
helped them.
yeah. That's all it's about. And even if when he did release that woman from jail, and she did all these little commercials like, oh, she's so thankful, honey. Why don't you promote helping others get out of jail
Because
instead
the
of going
couple of dollars they gave her
right?
and her getting out is
Exactly.
all that matter
But
to her.
exactly, that's all that
Hmm.
matters. But see, we need to get out that mindset because it's not even about. Shouldn't even be about that. It
And
should.
people's mind is so caught up in what just happened, they forget about when Trump put us in the government in furlough end of last year and
Right.
shut down everything for 2 weeks. Y'all forget
Right.
about that, but now this going on, everybody in the uproar.
And still
The,
threatening to shut stuff down.
see what I'm talking about?
And still threatening to shut stuff down. And also, I will say this: that as much as we are outraged about this, and this is where some people may not agree with me, as much as we are outraged about this, though, we need to be just as outraged when there's shooting sprees and all these other things that happen in our neighborhoods by our own. We need to
Exactly.
be just as outraged, and we need
Exactly.
to be able to tell the police when, where, and why. We need to start
There you go. Don't be talking
policing.
about no rat. Be like, Pookie shot him over there. Y'all gonna stop shooting in my neighborhood. So, Pookie, come on out. Go to
Right,
jail.
right, exactly. You're gonna start having areas where we start policing our own neighborhoods, neighborhood watches if we have to.
Hmm.
We can all come together. If about 20 people, $20 a month, make you are paying this actual person who may be an off duty police officer that looks like us, mind
They
you.
have organizations. We can have one. You can be in the hood with an organization
Right, you sure
with
can.
neighborhood
The
watch.
neighborhood watch and things of that
Hmm.
nature, so that we are policing and protecting our own people and not being afraid of, the police
Being a snitch.
that right, the police that's corrupt, being a snitch or anything of that nature. We are protecting our own and
Because they'll show
protecting our
tell on
own.
you if you was in their neighborhood.
I mean, they surely would, without question.
You can come on my house and leave some on the porch. I bet your police will be over there. I'll be like, that was my cousin, my brother, my boyfriend.
Right,
Y'all call the police on him.
right, right. Oh, but we never seen them before.
That's
Why
none
does
of your
that matter?
business.
Right.
Exactly.
Why does that matter to you? A lot of y'all I
It's
ain't seen
sad.
before, but I don't call, so
Exactly. That's where you were saying we need to start somewhere. Those the little
yeah,
things we
the
have to
little
start
things,
at.
right,
We shouldn't wait till something like this happen and
right,
holler Black Lives, because we know we matter.
right,
But we matter before this happened.
right,
We mattered when he was in that store. We mattered when he was on his way to that store.
right, right,
You know,
right.
and
Yeah,
it shouldn't
very
have
true.
got to that.
No, it shouldn't get to that, and
It never should get to, yeah.
right, it never should get to that point, and we should always be, first thing, we should always be ready to put feet to the ground, yes, but feet to the ground in a different way, not
When
to
they
just
see
go
us,
to strong.
when they see us, it should be respect on us. Like, like
Mhm.
when you see your dad and you're scared, like, oh,
Right,
there go dad.
exactly,
I'm
right,
finna act right. That's how it
right,
should be when they see you. It
right,
shouldn't be you in fear for your life because you
Right.
don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Very true.
He should have walked in there and was like, well, I gave him a 20. And the officer should have been like, well, do you have a
Another 20
pen
to give.
marker?
Right. Do you have a
Yeah,
pen marker to test it? Okay.
it
That one
shouldn't
was
have
kind
went
of
that
fair.
far.
Right. He could have
He should
gotten
have
it from
took him
anywhere.
back in the store and questioned it then. He took him out that car and off top it went from there.
Right. Right. And that's all to do with an attitude. That's all to do with the way they see you. And there's nothing even some far as people say, oh, don't get combative. Some people just may be angry. You may have pulled them over for no reason and they're angry. They have every right to be. But for you not to get the answer that you feel or the way they should talk to you when you feel like you being like, oh, what? And you want to yank them out the car and do all these extra stuff. It's crazy. It's too much. It's like enough is enough. Enough is enough.
And I think it was more to it because he had a passenger with him and he only dealt with George, and come to find out they may have knew each other from the nightclub.
Right.
So why did you only target him and not the friend? Both of them should have been on the ground. See, it's more to it than what we see.
Right. Exactly. And it usually always is, but they do a great job of covering up all the other nonsense. So you just look at, they put out what they want you to know.
Yep.
And how they want you to view that person, because it's always a thing of viewing that person as a criminal. When they do it, when they have these mass shootings and all that, the first thing they talk about is mental illness.
Yep.
That is the whole thing they talk about. They don't talk about, he's got Facebook flooded with hate mail. We have all this other kind of stuff.
Nazi stuff.
Right. He's in this hate group. He's doing this. He's doing that. No, the first thing they always mainly focus on is his mental wellness, mental health, mental this, mental that. And instantly with us, it's always kind of this thug mentality. Oh, this person was a criminal already. This person did this criminally. See what kind of person this person is? They almost deserve to die. We need to stop that. We need
and
to
they
not
did it with
homeboy.
Homeboy that went up in there and shot up the 9/11, whatever, those amount of people, the black people in the church.
Yes.
But then they took him to the car, let him sit there, bought him Burger King. And you shot 11 people.
They chased him down first, and there was no shootout. They chased him down. He finally pulled over. They pulled him out the car, gave him water, gave him Burger King, McDonald's, whatever it is he wanted because he was hungry.
Yeah.
They've never done that to us. Instantly.
And said he was crazy too.
Right. And say, get us. You pull out your guns. The first thing you do is you fire. You ask questions later. Why is that? Again, it's because of the mindset of how you view your people. You don't see that for your people. You still have sympathy and empathy for your own people, but you don't have that for anybody else.
And don't forget homeboy that shot up the school. He went back to school. He was 20-some years old, shot up teachers and children. They tried to say he was crazy too, but he was making bombs in his bedroom the whole time.
Right. And the mother didn't know it. Allegedly. Right. Okay.
And the only way they get killed is when it's like a suicide attempt. They try to shoot at the officer and they get shot back.
Right.
But they tried their best not to kill him.
Exactly. And they do. They do all the time. They will try their best not to kill him, but they do all the time. But for us, instantly, I saw a video the other day after this had happened of an officer tussling, and he literally just pulled out his gun and shot the man point blank. Okay, so you can't. So you're not trained to wrestle with someone to get them in handcuffs?
Exactly. What happened to the tasers?
Tasers are gone. You have body cams. They don't work all of a sudden now. Come on, please. Who's playing this game?
It looked like they hiring too many straight out the military people because they shooting to kill, baby. They ain't asking no questions.
Look, that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. They already, they train them fresh out the military and then
and bring them straight on the,
And they have that same mentality that you are
prey,
whoever they are. You are the Arabian, whatever. You are this person. You are
it's a new generation.
Yeah.
Like they don't have the old officers no more. Now they bring them straight from the military.
Yeah, like they're playing Call of Duty or something. Like it's a video game. These are real lives. These are real people that people have no concern about.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We need to start having humanity and the same concern when this happens. to our own and put our own up to it and say, hey, no, what are you
Make
doing?
them
Why are you
responsible
doing
also. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, the change starts with us, guys. We have to see the
Yes.
change that we want to see. So
Yes.
as much as we talk about this, we can talk about this till we blue in the face every time it happens. But what is talking going to do without action? We
It's
need to
just gonna
start
recycle.
doing stuff. Yeah, we
Yes.
need to start actually doing stuff and getting these people out and running for office ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't be intimidated by it. If
Even
you
if your
good
name
enough
is on the
people,
ballot, you on there. Even if
you
you don't
on there,
win.
right?
Yeah.
You still on there. Some people will go, well, who's that? And start to look you up. And maybe that election you may not win. But hey, if you keep at it, you can. You can make a difference. You can make a difference. It's not all about getting the big, shiny office or the vote or the big winning ticket. Sometimes you could do a lot making changes in your local places. You really can. So I just hope everybody stays encouraged, stay focused, um, and really make a change, really be different. Because we can't do too much of this.
They always talking about you sound like Michael Jackson. Go on sing. I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Right.
No, I had to crack a joke.
But that is true. They do always say that for whatever reason. But that's okay. I'll take Michael's money though.
You sound sexy to me.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Get him. Yes, God. Want to do it?
He did.
I ain't changed. I still be flirting. I'm gonna act better. Okay.
Oh no, it's fine.
Heck right, Karen.
But thank you so much for stopping through.
Okay, and thank you. This was a nice live. We need this.
Yeah, we definitely do. It's always good to and like I said, I try to wait and let things there not be so, because I was a bit hot headed in the beginning. Because when it happens, you're like, oh my god, like
You want to
again?
see what's going on.
Yeah, like again,
Mhm.
and then you see all this stuff happening, and you're just like, wow, this is just it's too much. It's
Yeah.
too,
And I think Jay Dunn said she's gonna try to come on. I think I seen her say that in the comments. And then Heidi did a post earlier.
okay.
So yeah. So
Okay.
we making steps. I mean,
Yeah.
we can only do what we can do.
Yeah, we can only do what we can do,
And
which is
start in your
true.
neighborhoods and
But
start
starting your
voting,
neighborhood,
guys.
right? Starting your neighborhood, and definitely start voting and taking these processes seriously, because they are not taking our lives seriously. So we have to start taking our own lives seriously.
And let's just put it this way: if you think your vote don't count, Trump in office evidently does, because he don't know what he doing.
How about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, not only you got to combat a coronavirus, something we don't know nothing about or what it does or what it's doing. You got to combat police brutality, this, that, and the other. I mean, it's so much. It's a lot.
And his answer is, "Get over it." Oh
Right.
my God, I can't
Right.
with that man.
His answer is get over it, or he sent you a stimulus check. Be happy with
Yep,
that
yep, and
of
shut
your
up
own money.
and prolonging the set. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So please vote. And I don't care if you have to do an absentee ballot, which of course now they're trying to stop that too. They're trying to have a fight with the postal service and not give them funding. So therefore, you won't have an absentee ballot, because you figure a lot of people are not going to go out and vote because they're going to be afraid of the virus. So they're not going to show and vote.
I'll be there with a mask on. I can go to the store. I can go to the poll.
Exactly. If it's going to take a little longer, make sure you let your boss office know, or just take the day off. Request the day now.
Exactly, because they should understand.
But they should. But if you work at a place where they're not really understanding, and we get back in the swing of things, start requesting that day off like it's a personal holiday or a personal birthday. That way you are free. So if you need to wait in line all day, you have ample time to do so. Hey, what's up, Official D Spot? Thank you for popping in. But I'm about to roll out, so I guess you can catch it on the replay. All right, Karen. Thank you so much for stopping through. Appreciate you as always.
I know. Bye, handsome. Bye, chat.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, I'm really leaving this time. Thank you so much for stopping through. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you for the dialogue. Thank you to Auntie Donna, for K Storm. Thank you for popping through. Always appreciate it. Thank you for everybody in the chat, all content creators. Thank you so much. We definitely have to be the change that we want to see. And it starts with us, guys. And I employ that everybody with a platform, yeah, roasting and gagging is cool, but use your voice. You have a voice, you have a following, use it. We can be that change. We can start a movement and make it work. But we just have to, use our voices for good. And we can be that change. So with that said, everybody have a blessed Saturday. Stay safe and peace.